Thank you.
We're going to go now straight to Haiti, to a conversation we've been wanting to have for a while. We got a new report from the UN this week, which found, unsurprisingly, that violent deaths in Haiti are soaring, that corruption, impunity, and poor governance, compounded by increasing levels of gang violence, have eroded the rule of law and brought state institutions close to collapse. I also am curious to talk about why the state seems so much more dire in the capital than in the rest of the country. And if that, again, tells us a little bit of helps us understand, what is driving some of this violence. I also think it's interesting that after ignoring this for quite some time, the mainstream media has suddenly taken an interest in the provenance of all of the guns that are being used to perpetrate this violence in Haiti. Yeah, I mean, better late than never, but you wonder what has happened now to make everybody suddenly go, what are all these American guns doing here? We're joined for this conversation by Kim Ives. He's the editor of the English section of Haiti Liberté. Kim, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, guys. Good to be with you again.
So, I mean, I don't know if you have some comments generally on that UN report that was issued on Haiti. I don't know that, anybody would have been very surprised by it. But I don't think we've really talked about the difference in, I guess, security and quality of life that appears to exist between Port-au-Prince and the rest of the country. And so I wanted to ask you about that. Is there a big difference? And does that tell us a little bit something about the nature of the violence in the capital?
Yeah, there is, taking the second part first, there is a big difference. Port-au-Prince, I mean, it's often referred to as the Republic of Port-au-Prince and the Republic of Haiti are two different things. Most of Haiti, which has been emptied largely of much of its peasantry over the past 40 years since I've been covering it. Port-au-Prince used to be 500,000 people. Now it's 3 million. And a lot of that is because 40 years ago, the country was 80% peasant. Now it's about maybe 50% peasant. And so that remaining 30% is poured into the cities, which has created, and this is not something just unique to Haiti, of course. We see this in Mexico. Mexico City, 19 million people. Sao Paulo, 19 million people. We have these megalopolises growing as much of the old traditional agriculture is destroyed. The UN report was opening an open door. Cataclysmic situation. Not much new there, really.
Have you noticed that all of a sudden there is an interest in where these guns and other weapons in Haiti are coming from? Because I noticed over the past week, Al Jazeera did a story on it, the BBC did a story on it, I think other outlets have picked it up. And the BBC in particular has a quote from a Haitian man who says, all the guns here are from the U.S., everybody knows it. If the U.S. wants to stop this, they could easily do it in 1 month. We are asking the U.S. to give us a chance to live. Just give us a chance. And we've talked to guests before who point out that the illegal weapons trade is an underreported aspect of drug and cartel violence in Mexico. And so I wonder, if you can talk a little bit about how these illegal weapons get to the island, if there is political support behind some of this violence, should we assume that elements of Haiti's political class are facilitating their entry into the country? What can this weapons flow tell us?
Yeah, well, guns are money. They are a big business, especially coming out of Florida. I mean, to go back to the first part of your question, these are smuggled in largely. There are boats historically which leave from the Miami River, going back and forth between Haiti and Miami, bringing food, bags of rice, refrigerators, old beaten up trucks that are going to be fixed up in Haiti. And the guns are often stashed in those in various ways, hidden in a refrigerator or hidden in the fenders of a truck or in a bag of flour or corn. So you have just a lot coming in that way. You have a lot which come across through the Dominican Republic, which also gets a lot of guns, and that border is completely porous. Guns can come in through there. And I think they're probably fast boats that come from other parts of the Caribbean, which bring them in. I know between Jamaica and Haiti, there have been efforts to stop the flow of guns between those two countries, and I imagine that's true for others. So, yeah, Haiti has, for many years, been awash in guns. And so I feel the guns are coming from the U.S., it's a little facile. It's a little, of course they're coming from the U.S. That's the only thing we make anymore.
Right. Interesting. So talk to us about this transitional council that issued this week its first statement, unsurprisingly, pledging to restore public and democratic order, to alleviate the suffering of the people, et cetera, et cetera. It was noted that only 8 people signed the statement. The council is supposed to be made up of 9 people, but I guess that is taken as a sign that they're almost there, and then the work can begin. And I wonder if you can talk a little bit about who's on this council and what we can deduce from its makeup about how effective and how able it would be to speak for Haitian people. Yeah,
well, this council, which is a complete concoction of Antony Blinken and the State Department, testifies to the complete cluelessness of the State Department about Haiti, because essentially what they've done is they've made a council which encompasses the entire dysfunctional Haitian political class. Everything from the de facto prime minister, who was just basically ousted, even though he technically hasn't given his resignation, but for everybody, he's history. And it goes all the way to, on the left, Moïse Jean Charles of the Dessalines Children's Party, who has, had a lot of relations with enemies of the U.S. In fact, the U.S. Yanked his visa a couple of years ago, but he's often been visiting Russia and Venezuela, and he has a sort of leftist coloration. Of course, they're not going to be able to agree on anything. They've already had a number of people put in and drop out. I think that will probably even continue. There's a lot of vying within it between two camps. On the one hand, you have a group called the Montana Accord, which I could say is really the second choice of Washington. This is sort of the enlightened bourgeoisie group, which are basically the same as Ariel Henry, but have this sort of slogan they use, Haitian-led, a transition, even all the while they're basically brown-nosing Brian Nichols, the Undersecretary of State for Western Hemisphere, and, trying to get the U.S. nod and the U.S. blessing. So this group, in alliance with the Lavalas Family Party, which has also been very accommodating to Washington over the past years, and a few others are sort of in a... the council is basically 7 voting members. So who can get 4 of them? Well, there's a competition between that sector, Montana, Lavalas, and a few others, with the Moïse Jean Charles sector, which he's a breakaway from Lavalas. So we're going to see how it all shakes down. But to me, they've made something that's completely dysfunctional. And already the fact of being on it, you had to agree. The U.S. is calling it Haitian-led. Right. But they said the condition for you being on it is that you agreed to the intervention by Kenyans, and may end up being Americans, that we have in store for you. So this already has kind of disqualified them in the eyes of 80% of the Haitian people. I want to ask you one more question, and I think because we have this break coming up at 1, I think I'll ask the question and see if you can stay on the line and get your answer on the other side of the break. But I wanted to talk about the response to the crisis in Haiti in the United States in terms of immigration protection. Because from what I can see, the violence in Haiti has not prompted the United States to expand temporary protected status for Haitian migrants. This temporary protected status has historically been used to let people from countries facing humanitarian crises legally live and work in the U.S.
whether the crisis at home is political or is a natural disaster. And there are already, to be clear, many Haitians in the United States under temporary protected status already. But there does seem to me to be a difference in how TPS is triggered for different countries with whom we have different political relationships, right? And I'm thinking of Venezuela in particular. We have an interest in portraying Venezuela as a nation perpetually in crisis. I don't know if this is entirely political. I don't know if this is because Venezuelans coming to the U.S. are more likely to be light-skinned than Haitians, or if it's some kind of combination of both. But I want to ask on the other side of this break, what our response has been in terms of protecting Haitian migrants and what that says about our politics in the region. You're listening to Political Misfits on Radio Sputnik. We're live in D.C., and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Political Misfits on Radio Sputnik, where we bring you news, politics, and culture without the red and blue treatment. I'm Michelle Witte. I am here with John Kiriakou, and we are joined by Kim Ives, who's editor of the English language section of Haiti Liberté. And I was asking Kim about temporary protected status in the United States, why it hasn't been extended for Haitians, and whether there are politics behind this.
I mean, it has been, and there still is a TPS, but TPS is always for people who are already in the country. So the question is, I mean, let me just go back to historically, again, 30 years ago, when there were huge migrations coming across the Caribbean from both Haiti and Cuba. We saw this very much on display, a complete double standard where the Cubans were basically given the red carpet treatment, welcome mat, and the Haitians were sent back or thrown in Guantanamo. Of course, Guantanamo as a prison got its start with holding Haitians, and they're looking at doing it again now. They started by just putting up, tents on the wharfs down there. So now we see the repeat of that with TPS, and you have also this what's called the Biden visa, which is basically giving people a 2-year work permit, and this is for Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua. We can understand 3 countries that we oppose, 3 governments we oppose, but Haiti is also in it. And why is Haiti in it? Haiti's not got a socialist-leaning government, but that's because they were trying to release some of the steam off of it. Now, what the U.S. is doing is they're going to bring in, if they can, either a proxy intervention force in the form of Kenyans, people from soldiers from Benin, Chad, Spain, Barbados, etc., and they're having trouble getting that organized and together. So it looks like there's talk now, and former U.S. Ambassador James Foley just had a big op-ed in the Washington Post that they might have to come in with U.S. troops into Haiti. So all of this is to say that they're trying to keep the flood of Haitians who are likely to flee the country on small rickety boats, as they always call them. They're trying to keep them contained and in, and not offer them any hope that they're going to be able to come and seek refuge in the U.S. And so, to me, that's one of the reasons why they're being so chintzy with respect to Haitians with TPS status.
Kim Ives, as always, really appreciate your time. Tell our listeners where they can find Haiti Liberté.
Well, it's Haiti Liberté. That's liberty with an E on the end. HaitiLiberté.com is where you can find our articles and films as well. We're about to come out with one shortly on the situation in Haiti.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Kim.